Takeover. Give it up for the worship band. That was I think it was last week. Last week, I had a speaker come up to my school. His name was Mike Smith. He's a professional skater. He knows Rob Deerdick and all other professional skaters. He's a really famous. He doesn't go by the professional skater. He goes by the professional teenager. And he came and gave us a message. And I'm just going to tell you a little bit about his story, and it's going to go along with the message tonight. Well, he lived in a small town, like a really small town in South Dakota. It's actually really funny because it was so small that the sign didn't have a population of people. It had the population of how many cows were in that city, or in that town. It said population of 1,000 cows. And he was telling us how funny it was that he had more cows than people. That's how small it was. And coming into freshman in high school, he was about 5'2", around there, as a freshman. So when you were that short, nobody really knew you. You were kind of invisible, kind of the short little freshman that nobody you talked to. Nobody even knew you were there. Well, the summer between freshman year and sophomore year, he grew about 10 inches and gained about 40 pounds. So living in a small town, when he gained 10 inches, became about 5'10", maybe 5'10", maybe 6 foot around there. You become the all-star athlete on every varsity team. So he was varsity on football, track, and basketball. And becoming the star player in the varsity team, you become arrogant, as he told us, arrogant, cocky, and you just thought you were better than everybody else. And so that made him look like the bad guy when he came to talk to people. Everybody didn't like him. Well, senior year came up, and his dad told him that he had cancer, that his dad had cancer. And it just kind of hit him. He didn't know what to do. He didn't know what to think. So the first thought that came in his mind was, would my dad be proud of who I am today? And not in achievements on what he achieved in football, track, or even basketball. It's about who he was as a person. And he wanted to become a better person for his dad and for himself. And so he went in his room, and trophies, just everything about him, trophies, achievements on his wall, everything. And he looked at it. He didn't need any of that. He took it all down, all the achievements, everything off his walls, put them in a box, and put them in his mom's basement. They've been there ever since, he told us. And what he did is he got a black Sharpie and wrote on his walls. On one wall, he wrote family. On one wall, he wrote friends. On the other, he wrote school, and he wrote other stuff on the other walls. And around those big words, he wrote the stuff that he wanted to be remembered for. And some words were character, integrity, responsibility, and just words around that area. And those were motivation to help him become a better person. And so, to also become better in his sport, not just that too, for himself, not just for his dad. So he'd go to school every day around 6 o'clock in the morning, 6 a.m. And he'd shoot baskets, he'd work out, and he'd study for 2 hours. One day, he forgot his headphones. He went to go to his locker, and he passed a kid just laying on the floor in pitch black. The school, it was nobody at the school, not even teachers. Pitch black. Kid is laying on the ground. Who lays on the ground at 6 in the morning at school? I'd be sleeping. But he passes him, he just looks at him and walks away. Goes and gets his headphones, passes him a second time, and goes and plays basketball. That day when he went to go play basketball, nothing was right. He was shooting baskets all wrong. He wasn't making anything. And that made him think a little bit. So the next day he went over and he tried to go say hi to the kid. Just to go sit down. Hey, come play basketball with me. Come hang out with me. The kid smiled and said no. And so Mike Smith, being the arrogant kid he was like, what? You don't want to hang out with me, the star basketball player of the varsity team for 3 straight years? That's strange. So every day for the past 2 months, he would go and ask him several times, and he kept saying no every single time. So he went to the counselors and he was asking her for help. Like, please, I don't know what to do. I really want to be nice to this kid. I want to change his life. And the counselor straight up said to him, the reason why he doesn't want to hang out with you is because nobody likes you. That's what she said. Nobody likes you. She was being straight up with him because they've known each other for years. And so that really hit him. So he was extremely upset about it, that he went to every person that he passed in the hallway and apologized. And after a few times, it hurt him so bad, he was going up to people crying and apologizing to them. And so he went up to the kid at 6 a.m. and just sat there and cried for a minute, like about 10 minutes, 10-15 minutes. So moments later, the kid said, hey, come on, let's go play basketball. What? Like, Mike is just sitting there in amazement. Like, I needed to cry to you to come play basketball with me. So they went to go play basketball. And ever since that moment, Mike Smith was determined to be his best friend. No matter what, if he didn't want it or not, he was going to be his best friend. And they created a list. Him and his buddies created a list that Clayton has not done. Clayton is his name, by the way. Clayton is the little kid's name. And Clayton, he hasn't done anything. And he found stuff out about him. First off, he found out his name was Clayton. He found out the reason why he would come to school is because 6 in the morning is because he wanted food. He wanted free food because he didn't have food at the house. And throughout the day, he wouldn't learn with kids in the classroom. Like all of us, we learn in the classroom with about 20 or 30 kids. He doesn't learn with kids. The reason why he doesn't learn with kids is because he was bullied so much in middle school that he didn't want to deal with that his high school years. So when he learned with the teacher. He stayed with the teacher all 7 periods. Did not leave her side. And when he went to lunch, he went 5-10 minutes early to go get lunch. He'd come back to the classroom and eat with his teacher because he was bullied so much in middle school. This kid's a freshman, and he does that. That sounds horrible. And he would go home, get a stack of Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and play Yu-Gi-Oh by himself. If y'all don't know Yu-Gi-Oh like I do, Yu-Gi-Oh you play with people. Y'all don't know Yu-Gi-Oh because y'all are not nerds like I am. But you play Yu-Gi-Oh with other people. You play with other people, but he played by himself every day. That's his schedule every day, alone, because he was bullied. And that got to him. And so they made a list of everything Clayton hadn't done, about 100 things. They did every single thing Mike's senior year and his freshman year. Think, he's a senior, 3-year starter on all varsity teams, and he's talking to a freshman that nobody knows. And that amazed me, because think that he can do that to a kid that nobody knows and take the time to do that, to say hi, and to change the kid's life and change his life. To this day, Clayton and Mike Smith are best friends. Mike Smith owns an organization, I can't remember what it's about. It's skating, and they go and feed the homeless. He owns several companies. He's the CEO of several nonprofit companies. He is well known in sponsorships like Nissan and all the big sponsorships. He's a professional skater, and he knows famous people like Rob Dyrdek. He changed Clayton's life by saying hi to him. And just think, if he didn't say hi to him, where would Clayton be right now? So I was thinking, who have I done that to? And I thought about this one kid that I have been friends with since freshman year. He's a little slow, and he is very friendly with everybody. And that's what I love about him. His name is Daniel, and he goes to my school, and he would call me every weekend for about a good hour or so. And we would just talk about just random stuff. Like last week, he was talking about how they found a planet that was 10 times bigger than the Earth. Like, I didn't know what to say when he said that. Like, would just talk about it for like hours, about just one planet. And so I just would like to ask you, who are you doing that for? And I look around the church, and we're all separated in groups. Like high schoolers, seniors, we have our own group. Middle schoolers, y'all have y'all's own huge group. Y'all are all friends. And I hear this all around school that, because I'm a senior, I hear this all around school, my school. Freshmen are so annoying. Freshmen are so immature. Freshmen don't know how to act in public. But I mean, we were all that age too. I mean, doesn't mean that we were born at a different time. Doesn't mean that we need to treat them any different than we were. So I would like to do that around, I mean, not to say that's around our middle schoolers, but I would like to become good friends with the middle schoolers. Y'all. The middle schoolers. Y'all are the middle schoolers. That's what I'm talking about. And I would like to do that with y'all. And I encourage all the seniors and all the high schools to do that with y'all. But the reason why I'm trying to say is that what Mike was trying to do was change his whole school by himself. But at the end of his story, he didn't realize that he didn't change the school. Clayton changed the school. The little freshman, the freshman nobody knew, just laying on the floor at 6 a.m., he changed the whole school. And again, that got me to thinking. And so I encourage y'all to do that in the future weeks or this week. But lost where I was at. Sorry, I lost where I was at. But back to Daniel. Me and Daniel will talk for hours, just talking about just random stuff. And so I brought him to my house one time, and we had dinner with my family. And ever since then, he's been a part of my life. I brought him to most of my stuff, like football games, or bring him to, I'm thinking about bringing him to prom with me, because I don't think, not like, as a date. I'm not bringing a date to prom. I'm not bringing a date to prom, and I wanted to bring him in my prom group, because we're going out of town, and I wanted him to enjoy that with me. But I just think that we should do that as a church. Encourage one another. Instead of all these separate groups, we unite as a church. And there's a verse that reminds me of that, and that's Proverbs 27:17. As iron sharpens iron, so does one person sharpens another. And that's basically saying that we need to be each other's rock. We need to be each other's mentor. And we need to stick with each other and help each other through the thick and thin. Like, you see somebody struggling, go pray for them. Pray for them. You don't need to pray for them with them, but pray for them. And keep them in your hearts at all times. I have a friend that's, I'm not going to mention any names, but I have a friend, and they're dealing with a lot of stuff in their life. And I want to be with them, but I don't get to see them every day. And the best thing I could do is just be there for them. And that's what you got to do. You got to be there for them no matter what. As their best friend, as their friend, or just in general, as acquaintances. You don't even have to be their friend. Just know I'm there for you. Hey, you need somebody to call? Just call me. I hear people say that all the time. But when you hear somebody's dealing with somebody, go be their backboard. Go be their foundation. Because people get weak. People don't know what to do when they're stuck in that situation. And I feel like we need to go be there for them. But I think that throughout our church and throughout the school, maybe, if you see somebody that you don't really know, that you see having a hard time, and then you don't see hanging out with anybody like at the lunch table or even here at church. Because I mean that happens all the time. Actually, when Eddie first came, there was so many people that came and left without us knowing that when Eddie told me, I was shocked and heartbroken. There was at one time 36 people that came in and left in about a couple months. 36 people. You look at us, we feel like we're not growing as a church, as in people-wise, but there's actually people coming in and we're not going to greet them and make them feel welcomed here. And I feel like that's what we need to do. I feel like this sermon has come a little short. I feel like I'm kind of rushing through everything, but how are you sharpening others in your small group? How are you helping other people in your small group? Because you know what they're going through. They tell you all the time. How are you helping them? Ugh. Gosh, dude, this thing. Okay. I'm having such a hard time right now. This ended really early. I really wish I didn't go through this fast, but I want to encourage y'all to go out this week and answer these questions in your head. How are you sharpening other people in your small groups right now? If you're being honest with yourself, do you really know each other and how they're struggling with their situation? There's one really easy way you can get to start making a change in the world, and that's by saying hi to people you don't know, making them feel welcome. That's how we can be world changers in this world. This was a really, really, really short sermon. I don't know what to do, but I'm going to. What time is it? Wow. Okay. It's really short. But I'm missing y'all small groups, and they got questions for y'all. We got small groups. We got high schoolers with high schoolers with Jack. We got middle schoolers with Eddie, Scott, and Jordan, I guess. And then we got high school girls with Becky, and we got middle schoolers with Maddie. Wait. Proceed. All right. Let me pray before we go to the small group. All right, let's pray. All right, God. God, I pray that these teens, we go out and change the world one kid at a time, and we hope that it makes a chain as we go out there. And I hope that they understood the message and understood the story that Mike Smith delivered to me, and I'm delivering to them. I hope that they interact with their small groups and they take what I ask them and ask them for themselves, put it in their life perspective. And I'm sorry the sermon was so short, but I hope I got the message out for them. And in Jesus' name, amen. Amen.